Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Amy Duggar King has always been known as the Duggar who didn't quite fit the mold. From the first moment she appeared on 19 Kids and Counting, fans noticed something refreshingly different about her: the laughter that wasn't rehearsed, the clothes that weren't knee-length, and the candid honesty that rarely made it to primetime television. But behind that bright smile and fun cousin persona was a woman navigating deep emotional turmoil, torn between family loyalty and a growing realization that the Duggar world wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Now, years after the original show was canceled and the Duggar empire began to crumble under the weight of scandal, Amy Duggar King is speaking more freely than ever about her strained relationship with family patriarch Jim Bob Duggar. In her own words, it's a story about freedom, truth, and survival inside one of America's most controlled families. Growing up on the edge of Duggar perfection, Amy Duggar's childhood was already unusual before she even entered the orbit of her famous cousins. Her mother, Deanna Duggar, was Jim Bob's sister, and unlike her brother, Deanna didn't subscribe to the strict independent Baptist beliefs or the ultra-conservative homeschooling methods that defined Jim Bob's household. Amy grew up in a more relaxed, mainstream environment. She attended public school, wore jeans, listened to pop music, and celebrated birthdays without strict gender rules or Bible-based lectures. "I had freedom," Amy later said. "I didn't realize how rare that was in the Duggar family until I got older." When the Duggars began filming 19 Kids and Counting, Amy's presence became an anomaly. She was the rebellious cousin, the one who made viewers laugh but also raised eyebrows within her extended family. For Jim Bob Duggar, whose brand depended on portraying his household as a model of Christian obedience, Amy was both a useful character and a quiet threat. "He liked me as long as I played the funny cousin," Amy once revealed. "But the moment I started asking questions or speaking my mind, things changed." The reality TV illusion. To viewers, 19 Kids and Counting was a wholesome, faith-filled show about love, discipline, and family unity. Behind the scenes, however, Amy began to sense the darker undercurrents. Filming days were rigid, rehearsed, and heavily monitored. Every word and gesture had to align with Jim Bob's version of godly family life. Amy's free-spirited nature clashed constantly with this artificial structure. Producers often asked her to tone it down, and Jim Bob himself would intervene to ensure that nothing she said could embarrass the family. In later interviews, Amy admitted that she often felt like a prop. "They used me as comic relief," she said. "But when the cameras stopped rolling, I wasn't really part of the family. I was an outsider they wanted to keep close enough to use, but far enough not to contaminate their perfect image." Still, Amy's presence on the show helped humanize the Duggars. Fans saw her as proof that not every Duggar had to live under extreme rules. But for Jim Bob, it was a calculated risk, one that would later explode into open conflict. The beginning of the rift. The first cracks in Amy and Jim Bob's relationship appeared around the mid-2010s, right when the Duggar family's carefully maintained image began to collapse. In 2015, Josh Duggar's molestation scandal became public, revealing that Jim Bob had covered up years of abuse within his own home. Amy was devastated, both as a cousin and as a woman. "My heart broke for the victims," she said, "and my heart broke for the people who defended the cover-up. There was so much silence, so much fear." While most of the family remained loyal to Jim Bob's forgive and forget stance, Amy publicly voiced support for the victims. She called for accountability and compassion, even when that meant opposing the family patriarch. That was the turning point. According to Amy, Jim Bob began distancing himself from her. "He told me I shouldn't speak out," she revealed. "He said family issues should stay private, but I couldn't stay quiet about something so horrible. I knew right then that we were never going to see eye to eye again." Behind the scenes. Control and confrontations. After Amy's public statements, family communication grew cold. Invitations to Duggar gatherings became rare. When Amy did attend, there was a tension in the air that everyone could feel but no one dared mention. Amy later described the atmosphere as unbearable. She wasn't allowed to bring up certain topics, and any attempt to discuss accountability was shut down. It felt like walking into a church where everyone's pretending God's okay with lies, she said. I couldn't do it anymore. Jim Bob reportedly confronted her during one family event, telling her that her disobedience was setting a bad example for the younger cousins. Amy shot back, maybe they need a different example. After that, she was quietly erased from family communications. The woman who had once shared the spotlight with her famous cousins was now treated like a traitor. Marriage and independence. Amy finds her voice. Amy's marriage to Dylan King in 2015 marked another major shift. Her husband supported her independence, encouraging her to build a life beyond the Duggar orbit. Together, they opened a clothing boutique, started a family, and embraced a more modern, open-minded lifestyle. For Amy, marriage was liberation. I finally felt like I could breathe, she said. I didn't have to ask permission to wear pants or speak my mind. I was free. But that freedom came at a price. Jim Bob reportedly told her that her worldly choices were disappointing. According to insiders, he viewed Amy's marriage as proof that she'd strayed from the family's faith. Amy, however, saw it differently. If living honestly and loving freely makes me worldly, she said, then I'll take it. The aftermath of Josh Duggar's conviction. When Josh Duggar was convicted on child pornography charges in 2021, Amy spoke out again, this time with even greater conviction. On social media, she expressed heartbreak for the victims and condemned those who enabled the cycle of abuse. You can't preach purity and hide predators, she wrote. You can't claim to protect your daughters while silencing them. Though she didn't name Jim Bob directly, her message was unmistakable. Sources close to the family claim that Jim Bob was furious. He allegedly called Amy's statements disrespectful, accusing her of tearing down family unity. But Amy didn't back down. If unity means covering up evil, she said, then I'll never be part of it. Her boldness earned widespread praise online, especially from fans who had long suspected hypocrisy within the Duggar empire. But within the family, it deepened the divide beyond repair. Living outside the bubble. Over the past few years, Amy Duggar King has carved out her own identity, one that celebrates authenticity over appearance. She's been candid about therapy, mental health, and healing from emotional manipulation. She's also shared glimpses into how difficult it was to deconstruct the messages she grew up hearing. It takes time to unlearn shame, she said. I had to realize that being myself isn't rebellion, it's recovery. Amy now uses her platform to speak against religious abuse and toxic control systems. I'm not anti-faith, she clarified. I'm anti-manipulation. There's a big difference. In many ways, Amy's story mirrors that of several Duggar sisters, particularly Jill Duggar-Dillard, who has also spoken out against her father's control. The two women have quietly supported each other, bonded by shared pain and courage. Jim Bob's silence and power struggle. Despite the public fallout, Jim Bob Duggar has remained mostly silent about his relationship with Amy. Insiders claim he still considers her wayward and misguided, but avoids public confrontation to protect what's left of the family's reputation. Behind closed doors, however, tension reportedly remains high. Family gatherings are carefully curated to avoid interaction between Amy and Jim Bob's immediate circle. Some Duggar siblings, like Jill Jinger and Joy Anna, maintain quiet communication with Amy, while others remain distant out of fear or loyalty. Amy has made peace with that reality. Not everyone can wake up at the same time, she said. Some people still believe silence equals righteousness. I can't change that. Breaking the cycle. Amy's mission for the future. Amy's journey has evolved from personal healing to public advocacy. She's spoken at women's events, shared stories about breaking free from manipulation, and encouraged others to set boundaries, even with family. I get messages from people who say they're scared to go against controlling parents, she shared. I tell them, You can love someone and still say no. Boundaries aren't rebellion. They're protection. Her words resonate deeply with former fans of 19 Kids and Counting, many of whom have since re-examined the show's portrayal of obedience and submission. To them, Amy represents what could have been a Duggar who chose truth over tradition. The legacy of speaking out. Amy knows her openness comes with consequences. She's been criticized, mocked, and even threatened for daring to speak against the Duggar narrative, but she refuses to be silenced. "If I don't tell the truth, then who will?" she asked in a recent interview. "The Duggar name doesn't define me. My integrity does." For Amy, the goal isn't revenge or scandal. It's freedom for herself and for anyone else trapped in systems of control disguised as love. She often reflects on what it took to reach this point. "I used to think peace meant everyone being happy with me," she said. "Now I know peace means being honest, even if it costs me everything." Family reconciliation. A distant dream? When asked if reconciliation with Jim Bob is possible, Amy is honest. "I don't hate him," she said. "I just don't trust him." She's open to forgiveness, but only if it comes with genuine accountability. "You can't ask for forgiveness without facing what you did," she explained. "If Jim Bob ever took responsibility, if he ever truly listened, maybe there'd be a chance. But I'm not holding my breath." In the meantime, Amy focuses on raising her son in a home built on transparency, kindness, and emotional safety. "I want him to know love doesn't mean control," she said. "It means freedom, living authentically." Today, Amy Duggar King is far removed from the Duggar machine that once shaped her public image. She shares glimpses of everyday life, messy, funny, and real, with her social media followers. She runs her own business, collaborates with her husband, and continues speaking out about self-worth and truth. Her authenticity has earned her a loyal fan base that sees her as a survivor rather than a rebel. "I'm just being me," she says with a smile. "That's all I ever wanted." While Jim Bob continues to cling to his rigid beliefs and public silence, Amy thrives in her honesty. Her courage has inspired countless others to step out of oppressive systems and embrace their individuality, proving that breaking free from control isn't betrayal, it's transformation. The cost of truth. Amy often reflects on what she's lost and what she's gained. She's lost invitations, connections, and the illusion of a big, happy family. But she's gained peace, self-respect, and a platform that helps others heal. "When you grow up around control, you think silence is safe," she said. "But silence only protects the wrong people." Speaking out is scary, but it's also sacred. Her story is a reminder that freedom isn't given, it's chosen. And sometimes, that choice comes with heartbreak. The rebel who found her fate. Amy Duggar King may have stepped away from her family's strict definition of faith, but she hasn't lost her spirituality. In fact, she says her relationship with God is stronger now than ever before. "I used to think faith meant following rules," she reflected. "Now I know it's about love, real, unconditional love. And love never controls. It sets you free." As she continues to raise her voice, Amy's message remains clear. You can honor your roots without becoming entangled in them. You can love your family without losing yourself. And for Amy Duggar King, that truth is worth everything.